Howdy folks, Timber Drifter here. Just going on a little bit of a walk. Not really a hike, just a little bit of a walk in the woods before I head up to work today. I'm just right behind my house right now. House is just right back over there. I saw where something walked through this morning while the dew was still on. See the grass pushed down. I don't know if that'll camera will pick that up or if you'll know what I'm looking at, but this trail going on up through here, grass is all pushed down. Not like a deer either, something bigger. Could have been a bear. Could have been. Either way, it's been long enough that I doubt I'll encounter it, whatever it was. But, figured I'd take a little look anyway. And the day before yesterday, we had quite a bit of rain. On and off half the night and on and off all day, so the woods are still pretty wet. So I'm not concerned about dropping an ember out of my pipe here and causing a forest fire. Which, yesterday, we had some of that Canadian forest fire smoke. Just got my foot caught up in some branches. Now I'm definitely not going to sneak up on anything. Oh yeah. But disturbed ground there. Anyway, we had some of that Canadian forest fire smoke. I woke up in the morning smelling what I thought was house fire. Didn't smell like forest fire to me. I thought either somebody was burning garbage or there was a house fire, but I realized once I saw the haze later in the day that it was forest fire smoke, and then I checked. Later on, I checked the air quality report and it said we had some of the worst air in the country here yesterday, which is opposite of how it normally is. But the sky had that hazy, yellow, diffused light look to it that Southern California gets every once in a while. It was kind of pretty. But it wasn't pleasant breathing. Anyway, I haven't been online. Well, I haven't been on YouTube much last couple of weeks. Watched a couple of videos here and there, but I haven't really looked at much. Which is probably why, or it's one reason why, I've been following a local news story somewhat closely. When I say local, I mean it's in the same state I am, Wisconsin. And there, before I get into that, say that there are a good chance there's going to be mosquitoes in this video. And a number of people found that quite disturbing in the last one, so toughen up a little bit, y'all. I'm the one getting bit, not you. You're just hearing it. Toughen up a little bit. Anyway, I've been following this news story for a while. Kid went missing down by Devil's Lake State Park. Looks like he stole the family vehicle early in the morning and took off. I guess he lives in Reedsburg, so drove from Reedsburg to Devil's Lake State Park, and they found the car on the side of the highway. I'm interested in this story enough that I check the news in the morning when I wake up and at night before I go to bed. Probably the last 10 days, and there hasn't been much for updates. I've never been to Devil's Lake State Park. I have worked with some rangers that work down there, and a couple of them were involved in missing person searches. And I remember them talking about the rocky terrain and thick woods. And I looked up some maps and things to get an idea what the terrain is like, and there's a significant amount of forest there. Some of it quite thick, and the landscape's got a lot of topography to it, and it's real rocky in places. A lot of boulders and things. I kind of want to go down there just to check it out, but at some time. But anyway, this kid, they had search parties out for him. He's 13 years old. His name is James Yablonsky, missing at Devil's Lake State Park. Look it up if you're interested. And he's not a little kid. He's 5'11" and 120 pounds. Tall, skinny guy. So anyway, the sheriff's department had search parties out. Rescue teams out looking for him for a while, and they found a couple of campsites. Looks like he's got food with him. They found some socks and a knife sheath. And they figured that he didn't want to be found, and they were concerned they were going to push him further in the woods if they kept sending out search parties. So they've just done smaller search parties, and I guess his dad threw together one recently too, a couple of days back. But it's been 17, 18 days since he went missing, since he took off. More than 2 weeks anyway. I'm not sure the actual date, but more than 2 weeks, and that's a long time for somebody to be out in the woods even when they know what they're doing. And it looks like they haven't said too much about what they know that he's got with him. And to be honest, you don't even know for sure that those 2 campsites they found were his. Now maybe the Sauk County Sheriff's Department has got dogs and got a couple of man trackers on their crew. I don't know. It could be that they're right, that the kid doesn't want to be found and is basically practicing escape and evasion. Or it could be that they misinterpreted what they saw. I tend to think they're probably right for several reasons. The kid took a couple of wilderness survival manuals with him, and a handgun, or at least there's a handgun unaccounted for in the household. So, pretty good chance the kid snatched the handgun. The sheriff's department says that they don't think he is a danger to himself or others. I'd sure like to know what that handgun is. I hope it's 22. 22 handgun that you can shoot accurately is an excellent tool for harvesting small game. And it's lightweight. You can pack it around with you while you're traveling light, living rough. But who knows? Could be anything. Maybe he was concerned about bears or people. Gotta figure out a way. This is formerly a creek. It's a drainage creek. Right now it's mostly just mud. Gotta figure out a way around that. If I step off in that, even though I'm wearing rubber boots, I'm gonna end up knee deep. And I don't want to end up out here with one boot sucked off in a mud hole. So, anyway, I don't know anything about this kid's situation, and I haven't really been able to find much. There's some wide tracks in the mud right there. Nah, the camera ain't going to pick it up, but maybe you can see some depressions there. Pretty wide. Smaller than a boot print, but certainly wider than a deer track. Now there's a boot print. Probably my next door neighbor, maybe. Anyway, I don't know if this kid had a bad home situation. I don't know if people were picking on him at school. Don't know if he was a troublemaker. Considering that he ran off into the woods, it's not likely him that's the troublemaker. But you know, the kid might be in a bad situation and seemed like a good idea to run off. Just from the evidence and gut feeling, I don't think that's what it is, though. I remember being 13 years old. And that was right about the time I started wanting to run off to the woods myself. Started reading books about wilderness survival and wilderness living, and reading American Survival Guide magazine. I was lucky that I had parents that would drop me and a friend off out in the what passed for wilderness in southeast Kansas back then for a day, and even did some campouts and stuff. But I waited till I was out of high school to run off into the woods. But I haven't really come back out very often. But 17, 18 days is a long time to be gone, even if you know what you're doing, and you could easily get yourself into a tight spot. Accidents happen, even when you know what you're doing. Especially in that landscape. A lot of loose rock, a lot of boulders. You could take a fall, injure yourself, break a leg, bust your head, get pinched, trapped. Any number of things could happen, even if you know what you're doing. So I hope this kid's all right. I've been thinking about him a lot. There's plenty of woods down there that it likely, unless they've got cadaver dogs, they probably have a hard time finding the body. They sure as hell have a hard time finding somebody that didn't want to be found, which seems to be the case. It's funny how the news reports it. The news is saying that the kid is wanting to be or trying to live the lifestyle of an off-grid survivalist. What's he building, a cabin with solar panels out there? Off-grid my ass. It's not the right term for that. And survivalist, although I use the word for myself because I know what I mean by it and what the word used to mean. But I think probably if you're my age or older, the word survivalist has a pretty negative connotation to it. It probably brings up images of guys in woodland camo with long beards, hating the government and trying to kidnap young women back in the mountains somewhere. So I think off-grid survivalist is really the wrong way to report that. But you know what? The news hardly ever gets anything just right. And they sensationalize the hell out of what they do talk about. So screw them anyway. That's as far as I'm going to go with that. But, so they found a knife sheath at one of those campsites that they thought was his, which is a little dangerous if you don't know how to fabricate another one. Now you have a sharp, pointy object you're trying to carry around. Hopefully he's smart enough to figure out how to make something to cover the blade. Doesn't just put it down in his pack. Anyway, I just hope this kid's all right. I really don't want to hear that he isn't. Kind of starting to expect that's what's going to happen, though. Might not hear anything about him for a long time. And maybe in a couple of years he'll pop back up, having made it all the way to the Mississippi and stolen somebody's canoe and floated down to the Gulf, you know? Who knows? Don't know what kind of adventurous spirit this kid has, but pretty good chance it's a big one. And the kid's got some stones on him, man. To do what he already did. So, best case scenario, he comes out on his own with some good stories. All bug bit and skinnier than he already was. Hope that for him and his parents both. I feel like a kid like that could have used a good mentor. We don't really have a whole lot of that available in our current society. And we don't have the rituals that we used to have back when we were primitive people. Term always cracks me up. Probably better, more appropriate to say traditional humans. But most traditional humans, part of their culture was, for often enough for men and women both, to have a coming of age ritual, a delineation between childhood and adulthood. You know, you put away the things of being a child and accept your adult responsibilities, but there was a ritual in place in most of those societies that I'm aware of, most of those cultures that had, for boys, to either go out as a group with the elders or on an individual basis and live out on the land for a while, or by themselves. Go out and gain some independence, learn some things, maybe get a better picture of your place in the world, maybe an idea of your meaning, vision for your future. They used to be something that most cultures that we modern humans come from. And I think a lot of people miss that, even if they don't know that that is quite what it is. Especially young people today who come of age on the internet and do most of their adventuring and socializing on the internet. It's got to feel pretty empty. At least I would think. Apparently this kid don't have a phone with him, or he's not using it. Or they'd be able to ping the location on it. Which, good for him if he's not. Anyway, I just hope the kid's alright. You know, if he comes out of this, he's going to have a lot of real experience. A lot of real dirt time. Way more than just about any, probably at least 80% of your YouTube wilderness survival experts. But at this point, there's a pretty good chance that he won't come out of it, so I don't know. I'm not going to keep going on about it. I hope he's well and he's having the time of his life. Anyway, hope y'all are well too. I don't know how much that'll even show up on the camera. not much of it. You can see some of the contour here kind of coming down. It's a horseshoe shaped hill. It's all the way around. There's a bog down there behind me. See, that's lowered me. So I'm going to do a loop around this horseshoe shaped hill and head back home and go to work for a pipe and a hike instead of lunch. 507C. Yeah, Virginia slices. My old boot Shokan Canadian. Yeah, I just think, you know, today, I don't know what coming of age rituals we even have anymore for most kids. What, going off to war? That's more likely to screw you up than it is to help you. Anyway. I'll be following that story, so see if the kid comes out of it. Sure hope he does. Now I gotta go play in the woods. So, y'all take care. Get outside.